All right, what's going on, folks? Thank you for joining us for another Lunch and Learn. My name is Lamar Tyler, creator and founder of Traffic, Sales, and Profit. We help entrepreneurs do three things: drive more traffic, convert more sales, and grow the amount of profit in your business. Do me a favor, if you're watching on replay, jump down below in the comments, type the word replay in. We have a very, very special expert we're bringing into the room for you today. We're about to get started with that thing. You're going to be excited. You're going to love what she's sharing, because this is something that so many of you need to know about. This is something that so many of you struggle with. So many of you have a dream, right? You feel like this thing has been put on your heart. How can you get it to the marketplace? We're going to talk about that today when we talk about how to actually birth that book, get it out, and get somebody to buy that thing. Because let me talk about that. Some of y'all have birthed a book, right? Can we be honest? Some of y'all have birthed this book, and to prove it, you got about 4,000 or 5,000 copies sitting in your garage. So we want to make sure that does not continue to happen to entrepreneurs in our circle in TSP. So we brought an expert to the stage today. She's going to talk about 3 ways to boost your business by writing a book. We're going to introduce her in just a second. Before we do that, I want to know who you are. So do me a favor. I want you to give me your name. I want you to tell me where you're from and what your business is. Your name, where you're from, and what your business is. Drop that into the comments right now. I'll give you a second to do that before we get started, before I bring on our special guest expert for the day. So let me see who we got here. Just a second. Before we do that, I want to know who you are. So do me a favor. I want you to give me your name. All right, let me see. I want to get name, where you're from, and what the business is. What's up, Tanika? We got my buddy Tanika Wright in the house. What's going on, Tanika? Amari, thanks for joining. We got some other people coming in. Again, guys, give your name, where you're from, and what your actual business is, as we talk about 3 ways to boost your business by writing a book. 3 ways to boost your business by writing a book. And also, if you guys know authors, if you know subject matter experts, because all those subject matter experts most likely should be authors, make sure you tag them right now, invite them, share this conversation on your page, because I guarantee it's somebody that has been trying to figure out this book thing, and they need to hear this conversation today. So as you guys are coming in, dropping those down in the comments, I see you. I appreciate you. I want to bring on our special guest for today. Our guest today is Krystal Swain Bates. She is a celebrated children's book author and the owner of Goldest Carrot Publishing. Fed up with the lack of Black children's books on the market, Krystal founded Goldest Carrot Publishing in order to address the lack of diversity in children's literature. Her books have been seen on platforms including CNN, Huffington Post, and uses props for hit television shows. Check this out, y'all, such as BET's Being Mary Jane and The Game. She was named by Huffington Post as one of 21 children's books every Black child should read, and cited by numerous media outlets, including Essence Magazine, as a top book emphasizing natural hair and brown girl beauty. Her book, Big Hair Don't Care, is one of Amazon's most highly reviewed Black children's books on the market. We're going to talk about Amazon a little bit too. On with a passion for empowering Black children around the world, Krystal is the brainchild behind brownsgirlsclub.com, an online store featuring books, t-shirt, party supplies, wall art, and other children's gifts featuring Black characters. A native of Atlanta, Georgia, Krystal holds a master's degree in international affairs from Florida State University and is an avid world traveler. Please, guys, show some love as we bring into TSP's Lunch and Learn Krystal Swain Bates. What's up, Krystal?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm excited to be here.
All right, I'm excited to have you too, because I know, like I said, like books, no matter what. For one, I love books, right? Everybody in TSP knows I'm a book guy, but books are that common denominator. I don't care who it is. It's like 80% of the population wants to write a book, or at least they've considered writing a book, right? And today we're talking about how kind of business owners can boost their business by writing a book. But I think like books can just be so transformational for your business. So
exactly. So first of all, thank you for having me. Thank you for that introduction. I'm super excited to be here because I'm just really passionate about writing books. And I've seen firsthand how it can boost your business. So I'm really excited to share this information with you today.
Awesome, awesome. So today we said we're going to talk about 3 ways to boost your how books can boost your business. So let's kind of jump right into the conversation, because I'm sure we're going to have like a lot of people asking questions on the Q&A. So we'll jump into a few topics, right? Then we'll come back to the Q&A. If you guys have questions, do me a favor and just drop them down below. We're going to come to them. All right. So Or actually, before we do that, right? Let me actually start by asking this, guys. Is anybody there? We have any authors in the room? You're an author, drop that down. Let me know. If you want to write a book, drop that in and let me know. Right? Do you want to write a book? What are some of the questions that you guys have around actually creating books and getting them out to the marketplace? That's something I'd like to see as well. So do me a favor, drop those actually into the comments. And before we get started with this conversation, we are going to see like what's on you guys' minds and make sure we answer the actual questions and things that come up with you. So let me see. I'm looking to see what we have. There we go. Tanika, have you ever thought about writing a book around real 365 and some of the initiatives you're doing around Black filmmakers? We'd love to hear that and see that. All right. Cool. All right, guys. Like I said, if your authors drop that in, if you got questions around, drop that in as well. All right. So while you guys are doing that, we're gonna go back to Krystal. So Krystal, we talk about 3 ways that someone can boost their business, right, with books. Let's just jump right into the first thing. Like, what would you say is the first way that somebody can boost their business by creating a book?
All right. So first, I just want to say, jumping right in, if you run a business, you can use a book to drive traffic to it. So it doesn't matter for everyone that's listening. It doesn't matter what kind of business you have. It doesn't matter what you sell. It doesn't even matter how well you write. And I'll touch on that point later. But just know that you can use a book to boost your business. You just have to be strategic and intentional about it, which means being clear on why you're writing the book in the first place. Okay. So jumping into talking a little bit more about writing a book. So a lot of people ask, how can I make money from selling my book? But that's not what we're going to talk about today, because the real question is, how can my book make me money?
Okay,
right.
I like that.
Yeah, it sounds like the same question, right? But this actually takes the focus off of making money from your book sales and instead focuses on your book making you money in other ways. Unless you're an author, you shouldn't look at your book as being the business. Instead, it should be a part of a strategic marketing plan that drives traffic to your business. So I will be discussing 3 ways you can use a book to boost your business. The first way is write a book to help you build credibility and establish authority in your field. So what do I mean by authority? The definition of authority is the power to influence others, especially because of one's commanding manner or one's recognized knowledge about something. So one of the very best ways you can use a book is to establish your authority in your field and then use that authority to generate new clients. Because the truth of the matter is, most people have no idea how to pick a realtor or a financial advisor or a graphic designer or any other professional service provider. They don't know anything about the skills that are necessary, what to look for, what to avoid, and who to choose. So people just naturally have a hard time with all the information that's out there. They have a hard time differentiating between you and any other person out there that's doing what you do. But what if you had a book? Writing a book will make you stand out from the crowd and from any other people that are in your industry. Because when you have a book, it gives you instant credibility. So let's think about this. And Lamar, I know you've had to search for all sorts of speakers for your conferences, right?
Definitely.
So let's say you found 2 or 3 people that you really liked, but one of them had actually written a book on the topic that you specifically wanted them to speak on. Who would you choose?
The author. Yeah, it was all, and I like with authors too. I like that when I read their books, I can get a deeper look into their thought processes and their mastery of the information.
Exactly. Now, does that mean that the other people that were on your list are not knowledgeable about the subject matter? Does it mean that the person who wrote that book is more knowledgeable about the subject matter? It doesn't. I mean, not at all. But by writing the book, that book gives the perception that that person is a subject matter expert. And sometimes in business, perception is all that matters.
Yeah. And I will say that our very first paid keynote speaker for TSP Live, which was in think the first time we like paid, like brought in somebody outside the community to speak was, well, I guess 2017. And it was because I read his book, Profit First. You know, I read the book and I was like, you know what? Like, let's find out how much we would have to come up with to get him here, because I need this information shared with our audience. And that was exactly how I found him through the book.
Exactly. And I hear a lot of people when I talk to them about this, you know, they feel like, oh, I don't know, I can't write a book. You know, I didn't, go to school for this. And it's like, you don't need to have a PhD in a subject or 20 years of experience before you can write about it. The truth of the matter is, if you know more than the average person about a particular subject, then you can offer value in a book. Okay, so don't downplay yourself or your knowledge and feel like it's something that you can't do. So I want to talk about writing a book to sell your service. Does anyone in here that's watching sell a service? If so, drop it in the comments below. Let me know what service you provide.
And this is good, because I think a lot of times, like, the service-based people always feel like stuff is not for them, right? It's like, I don't know why. It's like this service-based mentality. Whenever you talk about stuff, service-based folks say, well, that's cool, but that's if you got a product. Or that's cool if you're trying to productize. But for service-based, I can't do these things. But I got the feeling you about to drop it on them, how if they got a service-based business, a book is still perfect for them.
Yes, and that's why I wanted to do this one next in the lineup, because I think that sometimes people just don't realize what I'm really good at is talking to people, finding out what they do, what they're knowledgeable about, and then I will figure out the perfect book for them to write. And it's something that it's really fun for me to do it, because I love, seeing that transformation for someone who previously thought, oh no, I couldn't write a book. I have a service-based business or I sell a physical product. But once I explain to them what to do, it always becomes a lot more clear.
Yeah. And like, real quick, right? So we got, what's up, shout out to Renee Coakley from the Mastermind Group. Renee, she said she sells life insurance. So could somebody selling life insurance, could they would a book be good for them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. I'm going to give you some examples. So first, let me talk about why, if you are a service provider, you might want to write a book. So if you write a book and you have a specific service that you provide, writing a book that explains how you do it can create an almost uninterrupted supply of clients. So think about it. As I explained when I talked about authority and credibility, if I'm looking for a freelancer or a life insurance provider, okay, I have no idea how to pick one over the other. No idea what I'm supposed to look for or how to decide. Why wouldn't I pick the person who wrote the book on it? So how do you sell your service using a book? You write a book that explains to other people how to do what you do. You explain the step-by-step process so the reader can understand it and see how it works. Now, besides writing books, I'm also a mind reader. And I know you're thinking, if I teach the step-by-step method to doing XYZ, then nobody's going to hire me to do XYZ. So listen, I hear you, but that's not necessarily true. Think about it this way. Explaining the process will show the reader, i.e. the prospective client, just how much expertise you have on the topic. Sometimes people just want to know how much you know before they hire you. In a lot of cases, explaining that step-by-step process could drive the reader to actually work with you, simply because the process is so overwhelming. So for example, Marcel he recently did a lunch and learn about stepping up your photography game. He gave a lot of tips, but I'm sure somebody watching was like, nah, I ain't about to do all that, but I'll hire Marcel to do it for me. Okay, using myself as an example, I'm working on a step-by-step guide to self-publishing to help aspiring authors get their books on the market. Now, I actually provide a publishing service that takes care of the entire process for me. Am I afraid that I'll lose potential publishing clients? No, because for every person that decides to do it on their own, there will be a handful of people who have absolutely no desire to figure out book formatting, interior design, image resolution, book size, how to find and hire an illustrator, printing, distribution, etc. And based on the fact that I have a book on the topic and that I'm clearly knowledgeable about that topic, that automatically qualifies me in their minds as the best person to work with. So that's why a lot of people call a book the new business card. You know, all you have to do is pull out that book, and that instantly gives you credibility, and you can sell your services based on that credibility that you've gained. Another thing that I really want to mention is that for people who decide to use that information in the book to do the work themselves, because that will, of course, be the case. You'll have people that sit down and they follow your method step by step to achieve the results that they want. But they probably never would have been your client anyway. So by publishing your book and explaining your process, that helps you. Even if they don't use your service, it helps you because they can use your process and then share that book via word of mouth to let other people know, man, I used Krystal's method of publishing a book and it really worked. So that's just another way to think about it.
Hey, Krystal, I think that's a great point you bring up, right? You know, act like some people that are like close clients of mine know, but the general public doesn't know. I got a new book coming for traffic, sales, and profit, because the book I had before was actually pre-TSP brand, so it's not really directly in line with what we do and what we sell and what we offer. So I created a new book, but that's it. Like the book is really a step-by-step, you know, we're still back and forth between the ultimate guide or the formula or the step-by-step or whatever, but it's exactly what you just said. It's the step-by-step, you know, do this to get traffic, do this to get sales, do this to create an offer. And I think that's a part that people have to get past. I saw the comments light up a little bit when you talked about the fact that some people are scared. I can't share what I know, because if I share what I know, people aren't going to come to me. But really, that's the way business is set up now. People want to know what you know. And I'm not going to spend my money with somebody if I can't effectively, easily see that this person knows and is an expert in this actual topic or subject matter. So that's exactly what we did. We went through, we pulled all the information together. We presented this book, and I know that this book will bring countless, you know, clients on the back end of it when people get a hold of it and they say, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about. And like you said, this stuff sounds good, but I ain't gonna do it. So let me just go to him and see if I can hire him and this team to do it for me. So I love that part. I just wanted to point that out.
Exactly. I'll throw out some other examples, since I know we've got a lot of people that do all sorts of things and provide different sorts of services. So I know we have some photographers in the group. I already mentioned Marcel, we have Ronnie, a few other people. So let's say that their goal is to do more destination weddings. What if they had a book to help brides plan the perfect destination wedding? So nothing long, you know, just something like destination wedding essentials, a 5-step plan to having the destination wedding you'll never forget. So step 2 in that plan could be to hire a photographer that specializes in destination weddings, okay? And so they could just explain why that's important, how to find good photographers, and then talk about some of the things that they've witnessed, both good and bad, as a destination wedding photographer. That's it, okay? They don't even have to sell themselves, just the fact that they have written a book that who's gonna read this book? Who's the target audience? Women or people who could be men as well, who want to have a destination wedding. So that's a hot lead. If somebody is so desperate to have a really good destination wedding that they are reading a book on the subject, they want everything to be perfect. Oh, wait a minute, this book says I need to hire a wedding photographer that specializes in destination weddings. And the person that wrote this book is a wedding photographer that specializes in destination weddings. There you go. And think about the amount of time it would take you to write that book. 5 steps, you know, you could write a step a week, okay? 1 step per week. 5 weeks later, you have all of your steps done. This is not something that has to be a huge investment of time, but it's something that can generate and bring leads into your business on autopilot. Once that book is done and you have it selling, you put that book on Amazon, people are getting that book. And let's say for every 100 people that buy the book, they actually reach out to you about your services. That's for free, okay? That's essentially for free. You're not using any Facebook ads. You're literally using your book to funnel traffic to your business. And here's a little trick that some people do. You can actually put the information about your book and about your business in the very beginning of the book. So you know how Amazon has that little free preview? You can see about 10% of the book. You can make sure that within those very first pages, you can have like your introduction where you explain, hi, my name is such and such, and I specialize in destination weddings. I want to make sure that brides have the perfect, all the information they need to have the perfect destination wedding, whatever. That can be in the beginning so that people, even if they don't buy the book, they could see that little bit of information and they could still drive traffic to you without them ever buying it in the first place.
You know, and that's good, right? I think, you know, what people miss, and it's something you said, you started out this conversation, and you might remind me what it was, but you said, don't focus on, what did you say? You said people talk about, what was it? It was something about sales in the book.
Yes. People ask, how can my book make me money?
Yes.
But they should be asking, how could I make money from my book?
Exactly, right? So I think that ties in exactly what you were just talking about. And that's what I always tell people. I look at my book, really what it is a lead magnet. It's like rarely, I don't know if I've ever sold it for the full price of it, because most of the time I'm giving it away in some shape, form, or format. If online, I'm doing a free plus shipping. If I'm speaking somewhere, I'm telling them to text and opt in, and I'm gonna give them a free copy, because I just want to get the book in your hand, because I know that once I get the book in your hand, for a percentage of those people that get it, it's going to exhibit my expertise. It's going to tell my story. The people that need to connect with me will, and then I'll make way more off the back end of that than I even would be if I was selling that. You know, it's hard to get rich, you know, $10 at a time for most for most authors, right? So I'm using that, like you exactly said. Hey, I just want to get in somebody's hand, and if I get that book in their hand, and I don't make that $10 right there, that's cool, because a percentage of those people are going to pay a few $100 to come to the conference. Some of those people are going to pay a few $1,000s for a service. Some of those people are going to pay $1,000 for coaching, right? And the book is really what it does for me, is build an entirely new level of business that wouldn't have been there before.
Exactly. Using your book as a lead magnet is one of the ways that so many people are out there and they're doing this. Like, there are a lot of speakers who literally get booked. They make more money from their speaking fees than they're actually making from selling the copies of the book. So this is just a really good way that you can bring leads into your business, qualified leads, without spending a lot of money. And it's actually really easy to do. So if you have a service and you've never considered this, just start thinking about how you can teach other people why they need your service. That's the easiest way to do it. You said there was a life insurance provider in the group, someone that did that as a service. If you write a book about why it's so important that you have life insurance, it doesn't have to be anything, out of this world. Just write a book about that subject. The people that are writing it are people who don't have life insurance. Okay. This is your best customer. They don't have it. They want to understand why they should get it, and they bought your book. And so if you can provide this service virtually or remotely, then that opens you up to an unlimited amount of people that you could work with.
It does. And let me ask, because something you said right then, it brought me to another question. Because I know a lot of times when people think of writing a book, they're thinking like, I need to, I need to pull out one of these babies, right? And it's going, it need to be hardcover, and it's going to be, just 308 pages, and it's going to take me along to pour out my soul, everything in me to build this 300 pages. But it don't have to be all of that.
It doesn't. It really, really doesn't. And there are so many different types of books that you can write. I mean, the thing is, people are short on time, right? And so people don't want to sit down and read a 300-page book. They just want the result. So if you can get them that result within 70 pages or 100 pages, that's good. Like, they're excited about that. And even if you don't write a book, in the traditional sense, you can do a workbook. A lot of my clients can do workbooks, because if you're already teaching something, or you have a workshop, or you already use worksheets in your business, then that's an easy win for you. You can repurpose content that you already have. If you have a blog, for anybody that's out there that has a business that's selling a product or a service, and you have a blog and you've been actively writing about that service, guess what? Repurpose that blog into a book. Just go through, take those blog posts that you've written, combine them, go on Fiverr, have somebody edit them. It does not have to be a 300-page book. A lot of times we actually have the information that we already need to do it. We just need to sit down, figure out where it is, and repurpose it.
My first book is not a huge book, right? So one of the things I was most concerned about was the size of it. I was like, man, I feel like it took forever for this bad boy to get out. And I was like, still not big enough. But what I will say is the number one piece of feedback I got was people saying they loved it because it wasn't a long book. And people would come back. I, speak at a conference. I give it out. Hey, text your number here. Show me your confirmation. I'm gonna give you a free copy of the book. And people would email me and post on social media, say, I read the whole book on the plane. On my plane ride home, front page, I'm done with it. It was amazing. They say, hey, I started reading Lamar's book and I stayed up all night and I finished the whole book. So what I thought was really like some type of shortcoming worked to my benefit. Because people, like, the most important thing is they got all the way through it. So
that's true, because if you had written a book that was, 200 or 300 pages, then people might not ever finish it. And then they don't get that transformation, so they're kind of looking at it like, it was all right, but they didn't finish it. So the shorter you make your book, one, the faster you can write it. And two, the more people you'll actually get to be able to read the entire book.
Yeah. So I know we got one more point. I want to go to that. Then I want to make sure we got time for Q&A real quick. So what's the third way they can use a book to kind of boost business?
Okay, so the third way is writing a book to sell physical products. So I really love this way because it's funny. A lot of people don't think about this. So if you go on Amazon and let's say you're searching for how to lose weight, okay, you're going to get a list of books, and every one of these books is going to recommend some sort of a product that you can use to lose weight, be it a supplement, a skinny tea, a type of exercise equipment, whatever. So for example, I bought that book. I think it's called the 10-Day Smoothie Challenge by J.J. Smith. I was like, oh, I'm about to drop these pounds. Yes, all I got to do is drink some smoothies. Okay. So in this book, she recommends a very specific protein powder. She said it tastes delicious. It blends in perfectly. So I went right on Amazon searching for it, and there it was. When I tell you that clearly I was not the only person that did this, because the next time I went to go get some more, which is about 30 days later, it was completely sold out. And I literally have never seen it in stock again. So that book was a best-selling book. A lot of people read it. And I've seen reviews for other things that she recommended where they said, I read about this product in the Smoothie Challenge book. So the way that you do this is you don't write a book and just simply recommend that one product. You want to ease it in there in a way that makes sense. And I will give you an example of somebody in the group. So let's say Mandy and Elliot, the owners of Choosy Lovers, right? So they have a cookbook that's currently available for pre-order. Now let's pretend that they also launched a line of seasoning salts. All right, if they mention throughout that book that one of their seasonings sets off every single meal, no matter what they put it on, I would want to buy that seasoning so I could achieve the same results. If they had a cookware line, and they talk about, man, this pot helps me get a perfect saute, then I would want to buy that. So that's one way that you can incorporate, a product into a book. You're still providing value, but you're incorporating that product. And so whoever's reading it will want to get that product. So it's just a really easy way to do it. If we talk about Nisha, Babs Beauty, she launched her line because she has super sensitive skin. Let's say she wrote a book teaching women with skin sensitivities what types of ingredients to watch out for and the best products for them to use. Guess what? She can drop her own products in there. She can drop her own store. And the people that are reading that book are people who have skin sensitivities. So it's her ideal audience. So that's a hot lead. So that's just a couple of examples of how you can have a product-based business and write a book that drives traffic to it.
All right. Hey guys. So I see some questions. We're about to go to those. Before we do, I did want to mention that Krystal has a special offer. So I want to give her time to share about the special offer. Then we're gonna come to Q&A and ask some questions. So Krystal, you had something special that you wanted to share with the group?
Oh, I do. So one of the things that people struggle with is just they might hear me and say, okay, this sounds good, but how do I start? I don't know how to begin this. So I put together a mini planner that will help you figure out, one, what your book topic should be, two, help you outline every step of writing that book in a very easy to do way, and three, at the end of it, it gives you a special offer if you, once you finish your book and you want to publish it and you want to work with me to do that.
All right, awesome. So guys, I would recommend you get your hands on that. My team is going to drop that into the comments right now for you, so you can click on it, you can get a hold of it. And while we are doing that, we'll go to a few questions. So Krystal, first question I had, we talked about some of the different things. Aaron wanted to know, what about a fashion book or blog, right? So he has a fashion blog or something like that. What about books around fashion?
Books around fashion. So without me knowing if the person is selling a product or not, I'll give an example. Let's say you have a fashion brand that caters to plus size women. Okay, you could write a book that specializes in teaching people what to wear based on their body type. So it's a fashion related book, but it can drive traffic to your plus size business, for example.
All right, awesome. Let me see. Queenette says, Krystal, any suggestions for coaches who want to attract high-end clients who want to build a profitable coaching company?
Oh, absolutely. So for coaches, this works extremely well because you can write a book about that topic. And let's say you have a course about it as well. You can use your book to drive traffic to that course. If you are a coach, let's say a motivational coach, write a motivational book and add a workbook that goes along with it. And then you can get people to bring you in to speak on that and to run that workshop in person. There's just a lot of really good ways you can, as a coach, use a book. So if you, later on after we get off of here, if you want to reach out to me directly, I would be happy to give you more specifics based on your specific business.
That's awesome. And like I said, guys, I mean, like this right here is the exact way I used our first book. And like I said, the first book didn't even line up exactly with what we actually offer and sell now. But a lot of times just was getting in people's hands, getting in their hands, adding them to my list and being able to nurture them. Then what I found is that when I would do a pop-up event in a city, guess what, right? Some of those people at the event were people that were already on my list because they got the book. You know, when I sold a course, I always talk about, I tell people, I sold one copy of one book for $1,000, Krystal. And really what it was is I spoke somewhere. I think I gave out maybe like 70 books or so. I did, hey, text the opt-in, I'm giving you one free. I did 70 or so books. And then I had a pop-up like the month after, and I was traveling around. And in first city I was in, hey, it was one of the people from that actual speaking gig that had bought one of the books, and boom, they bought one of my $1,000 courses. Right. And like I said, the thing was, they had already begun the nurture process. Like them coming was not the first time, them hearing me, them speaking, them getting, trying to figure out what concepts I had. They'd already begun the process. And then as I went from city to city, every city would be one or two people who I gave that book to. And they were, prospects, they were better prospects, like you talked about earlier, further down the line. So they were buying my course. So now instead of trying so hard to, make that, I need that $750 here, that $10 here, I was just giving it away. I was giving it away. Like I said, then I was selling $1,000 course. Then they were getting them to my conferences. Like I said, then when I launched, bigger coaching programs, some of the same people where that initial introduction started with a book were in my high tier coaching programs. Mm-hmm. So I love it. I'm just saying everything Krystal saying is the total truth. She is the expert. Like I said, I've seen it work and manifest in my own life. So definitely check it out, guys. All right. So Krystal, we got to wrap, but before we do, I want you one more time to share your free offer form to talk about what it is, because I want to make sure everybody gets their hands on this because I know everybody needs it.
Yes. So I've created a planner. I've called it the, what is this called? What did I call this thing? I've created a planner that will help you figure out, it's called the Boost My Biz Book Planner. Okay, and so this planner explains to you, it leads you step by step through everything that I just explained. So at the beginning of this planner, you get to decide why you want to write a book. You check one of the reasons I listed, plus I included some other reasons that a business can boost your brand that I didn't get to cover here. Okay, so if you want to see those extra reasons, you get the planner. You can outline the ideas that you already have in your head. You brainstorm them, and then I've laid out a process that will help you actually get that book out of your head and onto paper. And at the end of this planner, you'll have an offer for $150 off of my services once you get ready to publish your book.
All right, perfect, guys. So we're telling you, go to the link. It is pinned in the actual comment section right now. So you get a hold of it. Make sure you go there. Make sure you work with Krystal. We highly recommend her, right? She's our go-to inside of TSP when it comes to book publishing. You'll be seeing more of her, even more of her lately, right? She got like a lot of great things going. I don't know if how much she can publicly talk about or not publicly talk about, but she got a lot of great things cooking.
Yeah, it's out now. So there's actually a commercial that just came out. But yeah, so I've been selected by Amazon as a woman-owned business, right? I've been featured by them. And so right now I'm on their website. If you go to Amazon storefronts and women-owned businesses, you'll see me there. And on Monday, I have a video that Amazon created. They flew to my house, they filmed me, and they created a really fun video. It's going to drop on Monday. So I'm really excited about it. It'll be on Amazon's homepage or one click away. So I've got a lot of stuff in the works, a lot of really good things because, of writing my books.
There we go, y'all. So even more proof. So again, thank you so much, Krystal, for joining us. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I had a good time.
Awesome. We did too. Everybody is saying they love it in the comments. They had a great time. Jacqueline earlier said this has been phenomenal. Thank you, Jacqueline, for checking us out. Guys, we want to remind you every week we bring you these lunch and learns because we want to bring subject matter experts from our community directly to you to help you improve your business and build a stronger brand. My name is Lamar Tyler, again, founder of TSP, Traffic, Sales, and Profit, helping entrepreneurs do three things: drive more traffic, convert more sales, and grow the amount of profit in your business. Thanks again to our special guest, Krystal Swain Bates, CEO of Goldest Carrot Publishing. You'll see her all over Amazon. She's one of Amazon's favorites. So you'll see her in promos, commercials on their website and everything. And guys, if you got any questions, make sure you connect with her. But more than anything, make sure you get the free resource while it's available. Go now. Don't say I'm going to do it later. Click on it now to get a hold of it. And make sure, even if you watch it on replay, you leave your comments and we'll come back through, answer, and make sure you get what you need. Have a great day, guys, and we'll see you next week with our next Lunch and Learn. Thanks a lot, Krystal. Bye-bye.
Bye.